Hey, boy, they look big. No, I swear to God. And the Jets lost 12 games. I mean, You can't have this kind of stuff. Get this guy out of here. Put in Ben Wickler.
The Todd Alba Show, weekdays 2 to 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Rational Revolution with Mark Becker.
We'll talk with former Attorney General J.B. Van Hollen about his bipartisan effort with the Democracy Defense Project.
Rational Revolution with Mark Becker, Saturdays at 2, Sundays at 1 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
Tom Hartman here. You're listening to 97.9 WGBW.
Broadcasting live statewide from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay. This is Nite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who binge watches TV for a living but doesn't get paid, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome to Nite. I am Pete Schwaba. It is great to have you with me on this Thursday. We finally have a nice day outside, at least here in northeast Wisconsin, although there's always the imminent threat of rain. But for now, it is gorgeous. There are people outside probably not listening to the radio. I don't like that, but it is nice to see people out and about celebrating Juneteenth here in Green Bay. Lots of people out celebrating today. That's exciting. Happy Juneteenth. And lots of people eating gelato. So it is summer is in full swing, it looks like, finally. And this show is in full swing. We have a great one tonight, folks. I am excited because we are going, it's Thursday, which means we're doing the popcorn pick of the week. And that's always fun. We'll do that at 6:35 with our guest who will be in studio, J.B. Thompson. He is a film producer and a kind of mover and a shaker. I just call him the guy behind the guy behind the guy. He will be here at 6:35 to make the popcorn pick of the week. That's always fun. We'll have a new movie that we can check out, maybe one you haven't seen. And if we have a good trend going here where the guests the last few weeks have really brought some kind of obscure movies to the popcorn pick of the week, which is really fun. But also it's nice when people pick one that we just haven't seen in a while that we really like. So we'll do that at 6:35 like we do every Thursday night here at Nite Lite. It's the popcorn pick of the week. And then in the second hour, I'll be joined by Chelsea Myris. And she is from the Old World Wisconsin Museum. And we're going to have a lot of fun talking to Chelsea. They have some great summer events coming up. We'll discuss all of them, the kind of stuff they have for kids, a midsummer extravaganza, a 4th of July celebration that they'll have down there. We've talked about the Old World Wisconsin Museum a few times on the show, and it's always fun, and it's just a very special place. So that is in hour number 2. We have a great question of the night, which we will get to and beg for your enjoyment and your participation in the show, ladies and gentlemen. And I have to make a special announcement tonight. Conrad is not here. So he's fine. There's no other NFL draft or anything like that he has to go to. He is just, he's got the night off. And Amanda Nimmer, kind of the all-purpose producer here, social media expert, the award-winning Amanda Nimmer. Welcome.
Can we say award-winning when it's third place?
It's still an award, right?
Guess.
I didn't even get a piece of paper. I've been shut out of the Oscars for 30 years now. I'm not getting, no, that's very exciting. Of course it's noteworthy.
All right. I'll take it.
Have you been able to parlay that in any way?
No.
Your social media expertise?
No, not really.
Oh, man.
No.
I'm going to give you $20 just because I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Technically, that's monetizing it. So who wouldn't take $20? $20 is $20. So Amanda is sitting in for Conrad tonight, and Conrad is, and it's because I still don't even know really what's going on. I know he's
So,
doing the morning show.
He's
correct?
doing the morning show because I can't do the morning show. You know, I
Right.
got the 2 kids. I got my
Yeah.
other half who works 3rd shift, who gets done at 6 a.m., which is when that show starts.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, driving up 40 minutes from Manitowoc, it just doesn't work out. So he's been doing mornings this week. He'll be back.
He will be back.
He
And
will be
they're shipping me off to Madison for a couple days. It's just chaos. And it's all because Todd Michaels thinks he needs a vacation.
Thanks. Oh, my God, that poor man needed more than a vacation. He needs a spa day on an isolated island far away from any type of online communication system.
Yeah, I mean, that's not going to happen because I thought he was off this week. And then the first day he's supposed to be on vacation, I was telling this to Conrad the other night. We're getting texts, and Todd's in the group chat. I'm like, wait a minute.
Do you know how often we're like, stop it?
I know.
Stop it. Go away. Stop. And he's like, no, guys, it's fine. We're like, no, it's not. Go away.
And
We've got it.
Part of it's for selfish reasons because I feel like if the boss is on vacation, go be on vacation so we can have, the run of the place.
Yeah, so we can goof
party
off.
down. Exactly.
You know, at my old radio station when the boss was on vacation, we used to take random office supplies and we would use one of the wheelie chairs and bowl ourselves down the hallway to hit him. We had 2 teams. That's what we did when he was on vacation.
Did you grow up? Was your previous work experience on the show The Office or something? That sounds like right out of a sitcom there.
No, it wasn't The Office.
No, you really did that.
But we did fun stuff like that. You know, you got to leave a few minutes early and.
It's kind of weird here, though, because by the time I get here and Con is here, it's just the 2 of us, mostly. Occasionally the cleaning people come in or Eliza will be here or whatever, but it's pretty chill. We can't really play pranks on each other.
We could.
Yeah. I mean, I could go put a tack on someone's chair, but I wouldn't be here to enjoy it the next morning when they get in. I wouldn't do that anyway. I draw the line at physical harm. Amanda Nimmer, thank you very much. Filling in for the kid Conrad Krieger, who is off tonight because he's producing Mino and the Mayor. Are they being nice to him?
I don't know.
They still
I think
call him
so.
Convoy?
I mean, if they remember his name at all.
He's just that guy.
No, that's just them. They don't do names.
Just whatever's easiest.
I mean, you got Jim in the morning who can't say Frank Hermans.
He
calls
can't?
No, he calls him Frank Hermes. And we're like,
Oh,
Jim.
dear. That's an easy one.
I know.
Schwaba would kill him. He could never say Schwaba. That's hilarious. Driving down, and it's a shame Todd is on vacation because he loves my driving stories. Today I had a doozy, and this is the second time this has happened to me. Not only were there 2 cars driving in sync, blocking both lanes for about 5 miles, going low to mid 60s, which is not awful. It's better than 40s, but it's still like, let's go. I got a life to lead here. 2 pickup trucks talking to each other through the window. The driver and the passenger of the other side are having a conversation.
How fast were they going, though?
Like low 60s.
Oh, no.
And occasionally the trucks would kind of like the driver of one truck was getting in on a 2 and they were kind of getting closer. It was very dangerous. And they looked like idiots. And I gave the tap. I'm not going to lay on the horn because I've already been in a skirmish on the road about 25 years ago, and I never want that to happen again. But I gave the toot. The guy goes like this with his finger. He puts his finger up without even looking at me like, we're just having a thing here.
Oh, like an Archer. Like, have you watched Archer?
No, I have not.
Oh, man, someone on here, please tell me you've watched Archer.
I gotta write that down. Because, no, you're like the 10th person since I've been doing this show.
But that's his thing. Like, someone will be, like, trying to say something important, and he'll just hold his
won't
finger
even
out.
Look at them.
Just holds the finger out, continuing to drink a drink or something.
That's exactly what this was.
Yes.
It was like, hey, we're doing a thing here. We're in the middle of something. Okay, but you're on the interstate. Pack it up, wrap it up, and move. And they finally did. But then, when I was leaving Marinette, this truck is in front of me about 50 yards, keeps veering over like 3 times. One time, it got onto the shoulder where the grass, past the gravel where the grass starts, and I got my phone ready to call 911. I didn't want to pass him because he's all over the place. That drives me crazy too. And you don't know if someone's drunk.
I've had to call those in.
Oh, I have too. Believe me. If something flies off a car or they're all over the road, this guy kept veering, like maybe he had a kink in his neck or something because he kept veering to the left.
I mean, it could be a situation like my car. So it's a Kia, and it has some issue that can't be fixed. No one can figure it out. But like when you let go of the steering wheel, normal cars will just go straight.
Yeah.
Mine goes right.
You need an alignment adjustment.
No, we checked. It's not an alignment. They can't figure it out.
How do they not figure that out?
I don't know, but it drives me nuts. So it could have been a situation like that. Or what I experience coming up here in the mornings is people falling asleep while driving. I had to follow a Minnesota car for a few miles because A, I didn't want to pass him, and B, I didn't want him to hit someone else.
Right.
So I'm on the phone with the non-emergency line. They called me back and they're like, yeah, he just drove all the way from Minnesota overnight and he was just falling asleep. He pulled over to nap.
They told you that?
Yep.
So somebody else had called that in too, obviously.
Someone must have.
Here's what's weird. I've called that non-emergency line at times, and that's like waiting for customer service with Verizon. Okay, this is an emergency, but I have other things to do with my day. You almost have to call 911. And that's when I started calling 911. I'm like, they're driving weapons, kind of. This is an issue. Get this person off the road. But then I thought it was probably texting because that's just as dangerous as
100%.
boozing it up, I mean, listen, I'll have a couple cocktails in the car on the way down, but I know when to cap it. I know what my limit is. You know what I'm saying, Amanda? There is a laugh. See, last time we did this, you kind of did this thing where you laughed and you put your hand over your mouth. I'm like, no, that's okay. You can laugh.
I'm used to I'm used to being on air doing the show myself, with the board and everything. That's how I was taught.
Oh, you're all purpose. Wow.
Old school.
That is. Wow.
So when I would laugh, it's just habit, especially when you're talking with someone else.
Yeah.
You just have to pull away, hide it from the mic.
Well, that kills the whole show. You have to laugh. All right. Hey, I think it's time for our question of the night. Do you have the thing for I just realized you might not have the intro. That's what I lead into. I asked you about the popcorn pick, but I forgot to ask you about the question of the night. That's okay.
It's okay.
We don't have
see
to
if
do
it's
it.
labeled in here.
See if you have it. I'll try to kill time. All right. Right now
Here it
I'm
is.
juggling, folks, because I'm on the radio, so they don't know. Yeah, go ahead. Question.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question. Question.
Pregunta.
Question.
Question.
Hey, I have a question. Questions?
This question.
Domanda.
Question.
Question.
Questions.
Oh, yeah. This is a good one, folks. Who is your favorite retired athlete? No one playing currently. I guess you could say old school, from the days of yore, whatever. Who is your favorite retired athlete? That includes deceased. I'm going to go right now. I'm going to say, I'm sorry, Packer fans, but I have to say this. But I think Packer fans like him too. Walter Payton is my favorite retired athlete. And here's the thing. Choose carefully. It doesn't matter who you pick. But I feel like in this day and age, the stories you hear about athletes from 20 and 30 years ago, before social media, you don't know any of their skeletons or demons. I've heard a lot of stories about other athletic heroes I've had, but Walter Payton was from my childhood, 70s and 80s, and just loved him. Loved him on TV. He was a happy guy. He was always smiling, playing the drums, just seemed like a really cool dude, to the point where I used to have, as a kid, I'd have dreams about getting to hang out with him. So that's mine, Walter Payton. Who is your favorite retired athlete? And they could be deceased, as Walter Payton is. We've got some good answers already on social media. We'll read those, but let us know. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. And you can text us on the app, or if you're watching on the stream, you can leave a comment there at YouTube, Facebook, or what am I missing, Amanda? YouTube, Facebook.
Twitter.
Oh, Twix. Yeah, Twixter. Twitter, yeah.
Sorry, I won't ever call it the other thing. It's Twitter.
It's hard to do. And I heard these guys talking the other night, what do you do? It made sense when it was Twitter, because it's you tweet. You send a tweet. What do you do on X? Do you X? I'm sending an X. That makes no sense. It's not catchy.
I would expect an X.
It's not clever, yeah. We've already done that. If you're there, give us a like or a follow if you don't mind. Always fun to get those for Nightlight. And we will read your text on the radio. We've got a great show, as I mentioned. I got to check out Archer. Yeah, I've heard that from several people.
Oh, you won't regret it. It is so good. And if you enjoy dark humor, it's just the perfect place to be.
Humor. Absolutely love dark humor. We're talking, it's the popcorn pick of the week, folks. There is a new 28 Days is opening. 28 years later is opening this weekend. Oh, I'm close. We're out of time, aren't we? But we're coming right back, and we'll read your text. It's Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for Matt and Air on Air.
Remembering Vietnam, brought to you by The Dispensary.
One day we started heading back to Dock towing some wounded guys in the truck, and the company commander said to stop the convoy. He said, "Where are the bodies?" We had 2 guys killed, and they had been left lying back there. That can't happen. So the captain said, "We need some guys to go back and get them." I'm thinking, I hope it's not me. And sure enough, he says, "Brzezinski, come with me. We're going back to pick up the bodies." And I'm like, "Captain, what do you mean? Can't we take the truck?" He said, "No, because they would just blow it up, and we can't afford to lose that truck." I took my helmet and flak jacket off. I could never run in those things, although I knew one well-placed bullet could kill me, and we started running back to the bodies. Mike Brzezinski, United States Army, Vietnam.
Hear this full story at WGBW.FM. Click on Remembering Vietnam. Brought to you by The Dispensary. Online at thed8dispensary.com.
Turn up the summer vibes at Chula Vista Resort, your playground for summer dreams, water parks, and sun-soaked pools. Epic water slides, soaring zip lines, and world-class golf. Dine in the #1 steakhouse in Wisconsin. Chula Vista Resort. Call 1-800-388-4782 or visit chulavistaresort.com.
Chula Vista Resort is one of the top 10 indoor water parks in the USA, with 26 water slides over 1.5 miles long. Find out more at chulavistaresort.com.
Hey, it's John Mino.
And Jim Schmidt from Mino and the Mayor.
Want to stay in the loop with all things Northeast Wisconsin? Sign up for the WGBW Weekly Newsletter.
Get the latest local stories, updates on the weather, and a special feature from our Mino and the Mayor podcast.
It's your one-stop shop for real news and great conversation in Northeast Wisconsin.
Log on to WGBW.FM today and get signed up.
Real news, great conversation. Sign up today at WGBW.FM/newsletter.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
As Wisconsin is cheering on the Brew Crew. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Welcome back. It is a beautiful night here in the state of Wisconsin, and it's the perfect night to do Nightlight. I'm your host, Pete Schwaba. Great show tonight. Beautiful night in downtown Green Bay. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are, and hope you're letting us help you relax a little bit after whatever stresses the day brought. That's why we're here. We talk movies and TV and comedy and theater and music, all kinds of fun stuff. And our question of the night is, who is your favorite retired athlete? It could be from the 1800s. What do you want? You want to go Ty Cobb? Let's go Ty Cobb. Nobody's picking Ty Cobb. I said Walter Payton. Let us know at 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC, or you can text us on the app or the stream. It all works, and we've got some social media text we'll read right away. At 6:35, it's the Popcorn Pick of the Week. The guy behind the guy and movie producer J.B. Thompson is here in studio to give the Popcorn Pick of the Week. Then we'll talk Old World Wisconsin in hour number 2. So let's do this, Amanda. Let's read these social. You're the award-winning social media. How many times am I going to say that? When is it going to start to annoy you if I keep calling you the award-winning?
You're honestly the only person who's mentioned it in a while, so I'm cool with it.
Well, you know why that is? Because I'm a big sweetie. Daniel Wheeler says, John McEnroe. I loved his outbursts on the court. Yes. I kind of forget. You know, I don't watch tennis or golf much, but I loved when I was a kid and seeing McEnroe just erupt and yell at the judges and say things like, "You cannot be serious." It was gorgeous. Vince Moranto on the social media says, fortunate enough to have grown up watching Walter Payton, Michael Jordan, Tony Esposito, Ernie Banks, and Frank Thomas. Hard to pick just one. Yeah, I would put Michael Jordan up there too. Ernie Banks too. Let's play two. Gotta love Ernie Banks. My other childhood hero when I was growing up was Lou Brock, who played for the Cardinals. Loved his game. Love how fast he was. He had a cannon for an arm. But I'm still going to stick with Walter Payton. Chad Fran on social media says Brett Favre. Duh. Hey, this is open for discussion, Chad. This is not a open and shut case. Chad can get a little sassy. We'll accept Brett Favre. He's got some, I wouldn't say, he got skeletons in his closet after he retired, it seemed like, with the charity thing. But on the field, even as a Bear fan, I loved that guy's game. When a guy can puke on the sidelines and go back into the game, he's okay in my book, because I would have hung it up. Monica Hale says, Yannick Noah, French tennis player turned musician. I did not know about the musician, Monica. Thank you for that. But I do remember him as a phenomenal tennis player. Great choice. Matt Harper, Michael Jordan. You know Matt Harper, right, Amanda?
Don't ask me about the sports. I don't do the sports unless it's playing rugby.
No. Matt is a rock rap artist.
Oh, that Matt Harper.
Yeah.
Okay.
He might be a good athlete.
By the way, we got a caller on the phone.
We do?
We do.
Who is it?
It is Richard, who wants to share.
Oh, please put him through.
There we go.
Hey, buddy. How's it going tonight?
Oh, it's getting warm, but it's going.
That's a good thing.
You know, I got two right up there in football. Gale Sayers, I used to watch him all the time, and Walter Payton.
Nice.
And you know how Walter Payton got so many yards?
Just running hard, right?
In the off season when he trained.
Oh, yeah.
At his residence, he had hills.
Yes.
He'd put a harness on, and he'd run up the hill like he was a ski lift.
And sometimes he would put weights on too, right?
Throwing the ball out, set it down ahead before he went down.
Yeah, wow. That's a great
And
memory.
He got
I remember
extra
that.
yards every time he went down forward with the ball reaching out like he was at the goal line.
That is awesome. And, you know, it's
Isn't
funny.
it?
You talk about Gale Sayers, Richard. I remember, like, he was before my time, but those highlight reels, that guy, if he didn't break his knee, who knows what would have happened?
I watched him live, watching the games. He just caused so much trouble. If they'd had medicine, he'd have had a knee and went longer.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, that's a great call.
No.
Thank you, Richard. Much appreciated. And
Have
two
a
great
good one.
choices. You too, buddy.
Yeah.
Walter Payton and Gale Sayers. Can't go wrong there. Matt Harper says Michael Jordan. Our buddy Rich Tallarico said, do you know how to pronounce that name, Amanda, on the social media? Fedipitis.
I'm going to say that, sure.
It sounds made up.
It sounds perfect.
I got to go to the Google for that one, Rich. Rich is always up to something. He's a funny guy. I don't know. He's the one who wrote the substitute teacher sketch on Key and Peele, so that could be a play on that. Conrad Krieger, supposed to be taking the night off anyway, says Marshawn Lynch. Interesting. I've never heard the K-Man talk about Marshawn Lynch. And then he also says, also my favorite brewer of all time, Prince Fielder. Very nice, Conrad. We miss you, buddy. Hope you're having fun with the guys in the morning. And then let's go to the stream and let's try to get these in before the break. PJ says, Tony Hawk, who while retired from competition remains a prominent figure in skateboarding and a successful entrepreneur. I like that. Outside the box. I never would have thought of Tony Hawk. Scott Tom, I know Scott. He says, have a great live stream. James Pardo Jr. would be proud. Well, thank you, Scott. Scott is a huge Jimmy Pardo fan. Scott, I would encourage you to look for the last time Pardo was on this show and he made fun of my shirt. It was gorgeous. Also on the stream, Green Bay Llama says, welcome back to Green Bay, Joe Keegan. I finally watched The Godfather of Green Bay thanks to your appearance on the Lyerly Show. Was entertained. Thank you. Well, thank you for watching Green Bay Llama. And Kristen, if you haven't checked out Kristen's show, it's on Saturday and Sunday, and it's great. Kristen does a great job. And 3 o'clock, right? I believe.
Yep, 3 o'clock.
Saturday and Sunday. Kristen's outstanding. So that was a lot of fun to do. She said I'm never coming back, but that's okay. We had fun. Our 1 hour together. Carrie from Tosa says, Donald Driver, a real class act. Could not agree more, Carrie. That's a great choice. Annie from Watertown says, hard to believe how popular tennis was then. 70s and not now. It's popular now, don't you think? But was it more popular in the 70s?
Right now, the rage is pickleball. Everyone cares about pickleball.
God, I know. It's incredible.
Name one pickleball athlete. Couldn't do it.
Emerson Lehman.
Oh.
Well, he's my favorite. I don't know if he's the best or not, but Annie from Watertown says Billie Jean King, another great one, trendsetter. Jim from Appleton says we're gonna save this text, Jim, because we got a break, and then we got JB Thompson here, the guy behind the guy, to give the popcorn pick of the week. Great to have you with me tonight, folks, on the Civic Media Radio Network.
The talk of Green Bay, WGBW. This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. United Auto Workers Local 291 has been on strike at the Cummins plant in Oshkosh for over 3 months now. The main sticking points are that the union workers have had no contract since January 29th, temporary worker language that's included in the negotiations, and mandatory Saturday shifts. This week, the Wisconsin Democratic Caucus of Lawmakers, spearheaded by Representative Lori Palmieri of Oshkosh and Senator Kristen Dassler-Alfheim of Appleton, signed a letter of support for the UAW Local 291 workers and sent it to the Cummins management. Cummins in Oshkosh makes drivetrains and braking systems. Republicans propose an $87 million cut to the universities of Wisconsin. Joanne Krulatz has more.
Assembly Minority Leader Greta Neubauer of Racine calls that completely unacceptable and said Wednesday that would have serious consequences for economies across Wisconsin. A cut like that could mean closed campuses. That proposed cut is a far cry from the UW System's requested $856 million budget increase. Assembly Speaker Robin Voss says it's not about cutting money. What it is about getting some kind of reforms to the broken process that we currently have. Voss referenced too much political correctness on campus and hate directed at Jewish students without explaining how cutting the budget would address those issues. Any budget containing that large a cut to the system could face a veto from Democratic Governor Tony Evers.
Meanwhile, in a statement, UW Director of Media Relations Mark Pitch noted that the UW system budget has endured cuts for more than a decade, and Wisconsin has fallen to 44th out of 50 states nationally in public funding. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. The Bruce Springsteen biopic Deliver Me From Nowhere inches ever closer to being released. Jeremy Allen White plays the boss and has gotten high praise after sneak peeks. The cast also includes Jeremy Strong, who plays John Landau, Springsteen's longtime manager, and Stephen Graham as Bruce's father, Doug. According to Variety, the trailer is now available to view on YouTube. Deliver Me From Nowhere tells the story of the time in the boss's career when he took a break from touring and made the Nebraska album. The film hits theaters October 24th. Ted Danson says when he gave advice or predicted things while he was on Cheers, he was often completely wrong. One of his big miscues was predicting that Shelley Long was not at all right for the role of Diane Chambers. Danson told the story to Andy Richter during an episode of the Where Everybody Knows Your Name podcast that he does with Woody Harrelson. Not only was she right for the role, Long went on to garner 5 Emmy nominations, and Danson, although they had differences at times, said no one could have done it better. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Tonight, scattered showers and thunderstorms, some strong with pockets of heavy rainfall, lows in the low 60s. For tomorrow, turning partly sunny, warmer and muggy with highs in the low 80s. Heat for the weekend, low 90s, sunny and breezy. Right now, it's 80.
The Todd Albaugh Show.
The Joint Finance Committee was leaked that they intend to cut $87 million from the UW system budget. And so we put this out on our socials last night, and today the Joint Finance Committee decided to pull that from the agenda. Because apparently, from what I'm told, Republican legislators got a lot of calls. When the truth is disseminated and people react, results can happen.
The Todd Albaugh Show, weekdays 2 to 4 on your local Civic Media radio station, and on the app. Matt and Air on Air.
From articles that I have seen, if you are a bagel purist, you should not toast your bagel. I think nothing's better than a toasted bagel and a schmear.
Folks, can we have a moment of honesty? Do you really like bagels, or do you like the schmear that is transported by them? Get rid of the stigma. If I walk into this room eating cream cheese out of a tub with a spoon.
Why is that wrong?
Matt and Air on Air. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Maggie Dawn.
At 5 o'clock, I'll be joined by Civic Media's political editor and creator of the Recombobulation Area, Dan Schaefer, to discuss the state of the state's budget. Don't miss it.
The Maggie Dawn Show. Weekdays 4 till 6. It's time for the Nightlight Popcorn Pick of the Week, where we recommend a movie that you'll either enjoy or won't. Here's your host, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, and it is Thursday night, so we are jumping in to do the popcorn pick of the week. Thank you, Todd Michaels. He's still working, even though he's not here, because his voice just permeates the network every day.
I think he's got a problem.
He might. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome. I've gotten to know this guy over, he's a listener, and he's referred guests, and he knows a lot of the guests I've had in. He's very tied into the film world here in Northeast Wisconsin. He is a smoker of cigars, a producer of movies, and I refer to him as the guy behind the guy behind the guy. JB Thompson joins me in studio now. Welcome back to Nightlight, buddy.
Thank you very much, Pete. Appreciate it.
Last time you were here, you were on the stream, right? You were, we had you on over the interwebs, I believe.
Yep.
So it's nice to have you here in the studio. How was the traffic coming up?
It was beautiful, actually.
Okay.
The southbound traffic was not good, but coming up here, and it was fun to watch people compete for parking spots out here on Washington. Like it was like blood.
Yeah,
trying to get in his parking spot.
It's weird. It's like in the winter, like all of these spots will be available, but it's summertime in Wisconsin. Well, everybody just takes advantage of it. And it's like there's no parking anywhere. Might as well be Manhattan, you know. All right, so this is exciting. So we're going to get to know you a little bit tonight, JB. We're going to do the popcorn pick first. Then we'll find out what JB is working on because he's a very busy guy and he's got a lot of projects in the works. You're tied into film festivals. We'll get into all that. I see you rocking the Appleton Cigar Company hat, which I'm a huge fan of. We'll talk about some cigars in a bit too, but let's start with movies. This is the popcorn pick of the week. How do you like to watch movies? Do you like to go to the theater or watch at home with friends?
It really depends on the type of movie it is, right? So judging different film festivals and stuff, I'd rather do it at home.
Okay.
Because then you're 30, 40 minutes into it and you're like, then you can
turn it off.
Yeah.
But when you go to the theater, I mean, typically you've done I have more leniency with movies at home. Like if I'm going to go spend money in the theater, I pretty much know or suspect I'm going to like it. And you're right. I think I maybe have walked out of one movie from a theater my whole life because you go there, you take the effort to go there, you put the money down, you're staying. You're miraculously hoping things turn around. They so often do not, but
your inner father comes out like, you spent money on this. You need to sit through this.
Exactly.
Like, oh.
So, all right. So you like to watch at home. What is your genre of choice when it comes to films?
To be honest, it's all over the map.
Okay.
I really like good story-driven movies, regardless of what genre they're from.
Okay.
So it could be like I just went to the premiere for Sanguine Teeth on a Driftless Road, which was an independent promotion. So that was kind of a vampire movie.
How was that? Where did you see that?
Sun Prairie. They had a preview
at
screening
for Marcus, right?
Marcus there. Yep.
How was the film?
It was great.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. It was a buddy comedy of essentially a group of vampires, on a rampage going through and doing what vampires do. So, the cinematography in it was beautiful, and it was chock full of a lot of jokes.
Austin Galante wore a lot of hats. He was on the show last time I was in Madison promoting the film, and I don't live in Madison. Otherwise, I would have totally been there. Well, that's good. I'm glad it worked out. When you see someone pour their heart and soul into something for so long and work that hard on something, I'm glad it turned out okay. All right, so so you like to watch movies at home. You're all over the board. That's a great response because I'm that way too. I don't typically watch horror, but I will if it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have like a favorite? So you watch at home. What's your snack of choice at home, JB?
To be honest, I'm not much of a snacker.
Okay.
But when I do go for snacks, usually I'll get some of the stuff I brought in. So some variety, special popcorn, some different odd things, I guess.
Okay. Let's do that. You did bring in a goodie bag. Let's set it up. Let's show people on the stream what we're dealing with here and how serious we take movies.
This is serious.
This is serious.
The popcorn pick of the week.
All right. Where's this from?
Osh Pop.
Osh Pop.
So that's
Chris,
Wisconsin,
right?
Yep. So
Chris has been on the show. Sometimes we have actual popcorn people make the popcorn pick of the week. Have you tried this, Amanda?
I have not.
All right. Stop staring. It's delicious. You can come and have some.
Yeah, we'll turn
All right,
we'll turn some of this over there. But there's a couple of different varieties he sent me with. He said,
Oh, wow.
I need to make
Look at
more
this.
friends.
Okay.
And this is the easiest way to do it.
Ooh, cherry cola.
Yeah. These are some of his brand new flavors that he's rocking out. But he does a great job. He's always coming up with something new. So generally something that he gets that's sweet and savory.
I love it.
It's always
Here's
nice.
Drumstick popcorn. Well done, Chris. And here is cherry cola. Now, Chris was on a long time ago. I could have him back, and especially if he's given free food.
You got to have him back.
Is that unethical, Amanda?
I think it's borderline. I also think you need
Never
to
mind.
clarify for listeners, when you say drumstick, do you mean the chicken variety or the ice cream variety?
No, I mean an actual drumstick like Tommy Lee. It tastes like a wooden drumstick. But with his sweat on it. I think
You know,
I
some
would
people
assume
like that.
It's the ice cream one.
Yeah, it's got to be the ice cream one. These are great. Thank you, Chris. So we got these. All right, I'm going to try to set these up right here. Put people in a mood for movies and popcorn.
There you go. And then the Dearmageddon hot sauce.
Okay, Dearmageddon is
It's all about
a film.
merchandising.
It's all about merchandising. And I've heard it was a play, correct?
Nope. Dearmageddon is just
Ed Gein was the play.
Ed Gein, the
Okay.
musical, theatrical play, yeah.
This is Dearmageddon, and tell us about Dearmageddon.
It's all about merchandising. No, it's a love
there's a
letter.
movie, too, though.
For sure.
Okay.
It's a love letter to Wisconsin, and actually we're in pre-production for the feature right now. We did a short that we put in a bunch of film festivals,
Okay.
and so that's coming to the end of its 1 year run there, and it's been a lot of fun. So, I mean, that's Dan Davies is in that one. A lot of people that you've had on this show.
Yeah.
Dan Davies, Craig Kinnett,
Great
I think
guys.
Jason Buss. I don't know if he's ever been on here.
I don't
but
think so.
Daniel Wheeler.
Yeah, Daniel Wheeler.
With Last Witch of Wisconsin. And yeah, just a ton of great people were in there. Kayla Kelly, which I think she's been on here too.
Yes, Kelly was on the show, yes.
Yep, I pretty much
When I was
emptied
in
out the
Madison.
coffers of Wisconsin
So
actors.
she's in that too. She's a UP actress. This is interesting because we had a week or two ago, I had Stephanie Gurno on, who lives in Sault Ste. Marie.
Ooh.
And I know Kayla lives way up. I forget the town. And then I had a comedian on. I try to reach out to the UP people because, listen, you take your craft seriously. If you live in that remote of an area and are still willing to try to pursue a career in show business, I think that deserves a tip of the hat. So,
I agree.
All right. So that's fantastic. All right. So
Fun fact about Kayla, I've
Yeah.
actually been following her on TikTok
Oh, really?
longer than
Sounds a little
before
creepy.
she came onto your show.
Oh,
So
okay.
when she came on, I was like, oh my God, I know her.
Do you want to know what happened? I have a funny story about Kayla. Before I knew who she was or knew anyone that knew her, somebody said, oh, there's an actress that lives in the UP named Kayla. I didn't think it was Kelly, though. But so I looked her up because I was in the pre-production stages of casting like $1.5 million film, a low-budget indie. And they told me about this UP actress. We were going to shoot in the UP. So I made a friend request and she just ignored me.
She just denied you.
That's bad business. I might have sent her a message too. Maybe she just thought I was a creep. But
Who's
anyway,
the Schwaba guy?
Yeah, but anyway,
Denied.
the project got put on hold, so it would have looked like I was. How do I get this on the?
I don't know. I don't
There
think
we
we need to merchandise all the stuff, but it looks
So
great.
you guys, what did you do the proof of concept for? Was that
Just a film festival run.
Was it
just to
Dearmageddon
kinda-
though, or
Yep, it's called
Okay.
The Rise of Dearmageddon. So it was a small
right.
chunk of like something in that same vein of that community. So like
Okay.
another story-driven thing from that community.
All right, let's get an update on that after we do the popcorn pick. So,
All right,
okay,
sorry.
so you go. No, it's I'm
I
the
off-tracked you
I'm-
here.
No, you're fine. Well, all we do is go off on tangents here. That's part of the fun, in my opinion. So, okay, so do you ever have like a full meal at home? I mean, when you watch a movie or a cocktail?
Not especially.
Really?
Like I drink every once in a while, but I'm not really a big home drinker.
Okay.
As much as I used to be. But I guess I also have 3 young daughters and a wife, so like trying to watch a movie at home is usually later at night
Right.
to try to get it quiet so you can actually enjoy it.
Yeah, totally. Do you watch movies with your kids? You like the
Absolutely.
kids films. What's your favorite kids film?
Well, I don't know if I watch kids films with them per se, but like my oldest, we watched Spaceballs the other day.
Oh yeah,
you know, and she was laughing because she got the humor, and my wife's like, "Well, I guess you got one so far that likes your sense of humor." So
your wife's adversarial when it comes to your movie choices.
she doesn't like my sense of humor.
Oh.
She, I thought that was one of the biggest attributes for her to choose me, but I guess I was wrong.
I'm sure she has good qualities too. All right, so what about like? Do you ever try to? I used to do this. I know this sounds really geeky, but when I would have a certain movie on, like if
Is
I'm
your
watching,
wife's name Caroline?
It is.
She says thanks.
Is she blowing up the? No,
she's on the stream.
She's got a great sense of humor. It's just different than mine.
Yeah.
She's more of that straight-laced kind of how things line up is what she thinks is funny.
Dude, I totally get that. My wife does not laugh at me, and I think that was my attraction to her. We met in our early 20s, so I was trying to be a comedian, and I think I saw that as a challenge in some weird way.
Okay.
And she still hasn't laughed at me once in several years. Anyway, thank you, Caroline, for the text, and we'll get JB home at a reputable hour. So because what I used to do is like if I was watching a movie about baseball, I'd have a beer, like at the baseball game. I was watching like a cop show or a PI movie. I'd have like Irish whiskey or something. Like I used to try to pair it like that, but I'm not as geeky as I used to be.
Interesting. You made it into an experience.
I did.
In your home.
Yeah, I tried to make it into an experience. JB Thompson is here, folks. He's the guy behind the guy. He's also a movie producer, and you do a lot of marketing stuff, right?
Absolutely.
All right. What's the name of your business again?
Midwest Digital Ninjas.
Yes.
Is the name of my business.
Love that name.
And we named it that because I worked for a lot of big marketing companies, and they'd always brand everything for everybody with themselves.
Yeah.
And I thought the business should shine through, so I don't brand any of my stuff. Like all my marketing's out there, but it's not branded with my name. It's all given credit to that business owner. So
that sounds like it's kind of the way it should be.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
Okay. But people don't do that.
No. Well, they're always branding to try to get more business.
For them.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
that's interesting. Okay, so when you are at the theater, JB, I know you say you prefer to watch at home, and people are being loud. What's your approach? Do you shush them? Do you give them a look? Do you just start open up a can of whoop ass, or what do you do?
To be honest, I probably wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
I'd just chill and be able to concentrate and watch the movie. And mind you, like I said, I have 3 little kids.
Right.
So to concentrate on anything, and I mean, granted, they're 11, 10, and 7 now.
Okay.
So they're a little
Wow.
quieter,
Yeah.
but it doesn't bother me. I can focus on the movie, and people can
nice.
be loud.
See, you're a big dude. I would think, Amanda, if he came over to tell you to button it at the movie theater, what do you think you'd do?
It wouldn't have to be him. It could be someone half my size, and I'd be like, I am so so sorry.
Wisconsin nice.
I will leave. I will leave.
That's Wisconsin nice.
Oh, that's funny. What movies hit you right here? What kind of movies make you emotional? And if you have a specific example, that's fine too.
Like that was my popcorn pick of the day. Like that Everywhere, Everything, All at Once. That was a phenomenal story.
I guess we just got
and it hit me in the feels. Sorry.
Let's hear that again, JB.
Sorry. The Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Because
Oscar nominated.
It was a phenomenal story.
Yeah.
And it was about, like I remember when I go back and I've written some things and done some things. And when you think about characters, I remember Stephen King on writing, he always says that no matter how insignificant a character is, to them, they're their whole universe.
Yes.
And so it was a lady in a laundromat that was running a laundry service, and her husband. So these are 2 people that, hey, how you doing? You drop off your laundry, you walk right by them, don't even think twice about it. And they built this whole universe around it. But you watched every single one of those people change throughout that film. You watched character arcs that were just beautiful in the development and the way they did it. And they took one of the most confusing things ever and kind of simplified it. You still have to follow some things and understand some things, but I've seen other movies like Mr. Nobody is another example where they tried to use all these crossroads where you hit a crossroads and you make this choice versus this choice, and it was really confusing.
Absolutely. That's a great breakdown too, by the way. Just love it. And the director has a new film out too. We'll talk about that, but that's a great pick. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, folks, is the popcorn pick of the week. Compliments of JB Thompson. We're going to do a very short break here, and when we come back, we'll talk movies. We'll talk area code hierarchy, and I think you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
We'll do all of that. We're having fun here on a Thursday night. Amanda Nimmer is in for the K-Man, and doing a bang-up job.
Doing great.
You having fun?
Huzzah. Yeah.
All right.
That's a good distraction.
We're coming right back. It's the Civic Media Radio Network.
as Wisconsin is brats on the grill for a tailgate. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
My perfect day has sand, salt, water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Insight Eye Care has been serving the Fox Valley for over 30 years and are proud sponsors of Mino and the Mayor's Eye on the Community. Insight offers comprehensive eye care, including glasses and contact lenses. Their doctors have a special interest in treating chronic eye disease, specialty contact lenses, and pediatric care. Find Insight on Sawyer Street in Oshkosh and Chain Drive in Appleton. Visit WIinsight.com to schedule your eye exam. Improving lives by improving sight. Insight Eye Care.
Hey, it's Amanda, and we all know that Northeast Wisconsin has some of the best events around, but trying to find them all can be tricky. So here at WGBW, we decided to do the work for you. Prevent boredom on any night by going to WGBW.FM and click events in the top right corner. You'll never have to spend forever scrolling to find out what's going on in your area. And if you got an event to share, hit us up by emailing info@WGBW.FM. We can work together to have real news and great conversation while giving you the 411 on what's happening in New Wisco.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day, when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
The Todd Albaugh Show.
Ken, as I like to call him, my least favorite Martin, chairman of the Democratic National Committee.
The other night I said to myself for the first time, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Matt Flynn.
You go into combat and the general goes, I'm afraid. It reminds me of the coach of the Jets back in the 90s. The other team would come on the field and say, boy, they look big. No, I swear to God. And the Jets lost 12 games. I mean, You can't have this kind of stuff. Get this guy out of here. Put in Ben Wickler.
The Todd Albaugh Show. Weekdays 2 to 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Come work with us. Civic Media has a number of great jobs across the state. Open now at civicmedia.us/careers.
Welcome back. This is Nite Lite. I am Pete Schwaba. It is great to have you with me on this Thursday. Our question of the night is, who is your favorite retired athlete? And the texts are rolling in. We'll get caught up on those in just a bit. But let us know at 855-752-4842 who your favorite retired athlete is. An athlete of yore or days gone by or icon. Whoever. Do you have one, JB?
I was thinking about that, and Rocky Bleier is the first guy that comes to mind.
Oh,
and,
Rocky Bleier, yeah. Appleton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I just remember hearing great stories about him, and they do charity events all the time. And the guy's in his late 70s.
Yeah.
And they said he runs around and he'll spend 10 to 15 minutes talking to people all around the golf course for like 12 hours. And I'm like, this is just amazing.
Where are people like, I talk about this periodically. Where are people like that in our society? That this guy was a Vietnam vet. He was a pro football player. He's done a lot for charity. Like, it's kind of intimidating when you people like this exist. And they have these incredible, like Teddy Roosevelt, resigned as Undersecretary of the Navy to lead a charge up a hill. Like, he didn't want to send other people in. I don't think those people exist anymore.
They probably do somewhere.
Probably.
I don't know. What would it be? Pickleball champions that would be the ones that are leading the charge as far as
they're still being developed. Dude, thank you for dressing up, by the way. You look like $1 million. You got a suit and tie. I don't think this is the first suit and tie guest we've had on, but it's It's very welcome.
Didn't the guy in the pink suit
Yeah,
wear
you had
one?
Easy.
Yeah.
You had Easy. Ezekiel Drews.
Oh,
Ezekiel
yeah.
N.
Yeah.
Drews.
Yeah.
Yep. He came
That's
in
true.
with the pink suit.
That suit is a spectacle. I love it. It's fantastic. All right, you're rocking the Appleton Cigar Company. They're a proud sponsor of. I hope they're a proud sponsor. They're a sponsor of Night Light. I can't speak for Norm. He seemed to have a good time last time he was here. But do you like a cigar with a movie? That seems to go. I say cigar and whiskey and a cop movie. Man, I don't need anything else.
You went back to like the theme, and I mean, I guess it could have gone either way with the cigar and the whiskey, or like a handgun or something, in the cop movie. But no, I think that'd be great. But that would, again, I'd have to get that past my wife, unless there's a smoking theater that you know of. But I think,
yeah, that's true. But you could holster up, I think, at home.
There you
have
go.
a gun on just to play the part.
or I can stand outside the window while the TV's on and smoke a cigar outside.
Maybe the Appleton Cigar Company can do movie nights.
Ooh.
Well, now you're talking.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Nightlight.
That's she's an award-winning. Social
I heard.
person.
I was very intimidated when I met her when I first came in.
You knew she was getting ready to post about you.
Yep.
So, all right, we have to get this out of the way too, JB. It's so great to have you. If I didn't reintroduce JB Thompson is a film producer, and tell me the name of your business again.
Oh, Midwest Digital Ninjas.
Midwest Digital Ninjas. It's fantastic. I love that name.
Thank you.
And you're the guy behind the guy. You've introduced me to a lot of people here. I've never lived in Northeast Wisconsin per se. I guess Marinette technically is part of Northeast Wisconsin, but I'm pretty far up there. So you've helped me meet some people in the area, which has been great, and I appreciate that. However, if I could just bring this could be a sore spot. You have a 310 area code. I have an 818. They're both Southern California, but you are higher in the pecking order as area codes go, as you know. When you swap numbers in L.A., it's like, 818. Okay.
Yeah.
You're a valley dweller.
Gotcha.
What did you tell us how you got the 310? And there are some people I know that have a 213, which is the original LA area code.
Okay.
Highly coveted. But 310 indicates you got some bucks. You're living down by the ocean on the seaside there, and I'm just sweating my you know what, off in the valley.
In the valley.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think the 213, is that south of the 10 now? Is that where they dedicate the 213?
And then a lot of that went to 323.
And then Simi Valley's like the 818.
No, Simi Valley's
San
like
Fernando.
Is that like 646? This is riveting for people in Wisconsin. But how did you get? What did you do out there?
I lost the
when you were in
coin
LA?
toss. Is how I got the number.
Oh, okay.
To be honest with you, so I met my wife in LA.
Okay.
So I lived in Chicago for a number of years, and so I had a 773 area code forever.
Right.
Prior to that, when I'd book bands and do stuff in Wisconsin, so that 920 area code went to some unlucky person that I ended up running into because they're like, I get calls all the time. I had to change the number.
Oh, wow.
But so I had a Chicago area code, and at that time, cell carriers couldn't put two different area codes in the same phone plan. So my wife and I flipped a coin. I lost, and I got an LA area code. Otherwise, I had a Chicago area code for years. Yeah.
So is your wife from there?
Nope. She lived out
okay.
there. She lived in K-Town.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
nice.
Yep.
Okay.
So her building was always being filmed. They always had people blocked off and craft services. It was miserable because you could never get there. You know, I had to come over to see her, and you'd have to walk like 2 miles past like all this security and proof. So yeah, it's a funny story how I got the area code. But yeah, so she was an LA girl when I met her.
All right, so let's talk about what you. I would imagine that would give you some cachet, though, when you say you're making a film. It's like, you got a 310 area code. This guy's a big shot, you know. So ride that, man. That's important.
My secret's out now, Pete. Thanks.
I shouldn't have said anything. I'm sorry. So what did you? How did you? You're tied in with these guys in the Northeast Wisconsin here that make films. Did you meet them when you moved back, or are they like lifelong friends? How did you get wrapped up in this community? And I think it's great that you did. I didn't know a community like this existed when I started doing this show.
No, that's an excellent question. Thank you for asking it. And surprisingly, so a friend of mine that I worked with when I was still in Wisconsin, because I lived in Wisconsin, Florida, Chicago, LA, and Montana for a minute.
Jeez.
And so a friend of mine that I knew from working when I lived in Wisconsin introduced me to Dan Davies.
Okay.
And so that's when I kind of began that journey of meeting all of these different people and doing all this stuff, was at a birthday dinner with my friend Eric.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. And so prior to that, like I said, I worked at Warner Brothers Records. So I was more on the music side of things. And, you know, our ski chalet in LA was right next to the film lot. but I never went over to the film lot. You know, it was always record stuff.
That was a different looking building. Where was it, on Coanga or something like that?
It's right,
it's like this...
literally on that little alley street.
Yeah.
It's Warner Boulevard, right on the corner, right down the street from the studio.
Is that where
lot.
Warner Chapel is too? Is that in there?
Actually, I think that's a little further into Burbank.
Okay. All right. So now you're doing films. How do you think the climate for independent films is good here? We don't have the incentives yet. We're going to talk about that next week. I have a couple guests coming on, but we got to go. But we'll be back. We're going to do intermission, folks. We'll come back for Act 2 with J.B. Thompson. He's the guy behind the guy. He made the popcorn pick of the week, and it was a great one. Everything, everywhere, all at once. We will talk more about independent film with J.B. After intermission, and then we're talking Old World Wisconsin Museum at 7:20 with Chelsea Myris. So fun. You having fun, Amanda?
Yep. 5 seconds. Gotta go.
All right. We're back.
This is 97.9 WGBW Denmark, Green Bay's real news and great conversation, a civic media radio station.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. 2 weeks. The timeline from President Trump today as to when we can expect a decision on whether he'll authorize an attack on Iran. One of the options President Trump is considering, what's known as a bunker buster bomb to destroy Iran's underground Fordo nuclear facility. ABC News Pentagon reporter Louis Martinez.
The concerns are whether this massive ordnance penetrator can actually destroy that facility. It's never been used in combat. Testing indicates it goes down to a certain depth. The question is, are those Iranian facilities down too deep, potentially, for this penetrator?
Dodger Stadium in L.A., a group of protesters gathering near one of the entrance gates after the Dodgers confirmed that ICE requested permission to access the parking lots. The organization says the agents were denied entry. 500,000 customers without power along the mid-Atlantic after a band of powerful thunderstorms tore through. Police say a teenager was struck by lightning in New York. This is ABC News.
Rebel Eddies is your solution for auto detailing in Midwest Wisconsin. They specialize in top-tier services, including deep cleaning and detailing, paint corrections, ceramic coatings, wax oil undercoatings, window tinting, and more. And they take pride in delivering professional results every time. Rebel Eddies is family and veteran-owned and operated. Bookings are available as soon as 1 week. Call 920-671-8984 or visit rebeleddies.com. Rebel Eddies Detailing. Restore, protect, maintain.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. The Evers administration gives Green Bay, Ashwaubenon, and Brown County $1.8 million to cover security and other public safety costs from the 2025 NFL Draft in April. Governor Tony Evers announced the Opportunity Attraction and Promotion Fund grant Wednesday. The fund's driving force was the recognition that large-scale events like the NFL Draft can serve as an economic boon, not only for the community hosting the event, but for the state as a whole. About 600,000 attendees flocked to the three-day event in Green Bay. Initial estimates have the draft generating about $94 million in economic activity across Wisconsin and a $20 million benefit for the Green Bay area specifically. Wisconsin Republicans are still working to limit the governor's partial veto power after failing to do so in court. Last week, lawmakers testified on their proposed resolution seeking an amendment to the state constitution to limit the governor's veto power to only full sections of an appropriations bill or to reduce spending. In order to make the change in the state constitution, the resolution needs to pass in consecutive legislative sessions and be put on a ballot referendum. Currently, the governor has the power to veto numbers, words, and punctuation in spending bills. The Appleton Common Council decided last night to rename the city's largest park, Memorial Park, to Veterans Memorial Park as a way to honor the service of military veterans. By passing the resolution, the city commits to renaming the park, relocating existing memorials to the park, and adding even more memorials.
The Brewers win. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with Sports Baseball. A great day today at Wrigley Field where the wind was blowing out and the Brewers taking advantage. An 8-7 win for Milwaukee over the Cubs at the friendly confines. 3 home runs today by the crew. Rhys Hoskins, Caleb Durbin, and Isaac Collins getting his 4th home run of the season. Drama in the 9th. Closer Trevor McGill on the mound and some very poor calls on some pitches that should have been called strikes. Pat Murphy visibly upset from the dugout. McGill managed to get out of the inning with With one strikeout and getting the Cubs' Seiya Suzuki to hit into a double play, Trevor McGill with his 16th save of the season. Pat Murphy after the win.
Great opportunity for our young guys to then face the great Cubs team coming back and breathing down our necks right to the very end. So it gets pretty emotional.
What did you think of the way Trevor specifically responded?
I thought Trevor's been great, man. This guy's underrated. Trevor's been great.
Up next, the Brewers head to Minnesota for a weekend series against the Twins. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Tonight, scattered showers and thunderstorms, some strong with pockets of heavy rainfall, lows in the low 60s. For tomorrow, turning partly sunny, warmer and muggy with highs in the low 80s. Heat for the weekend, low 90s, sunny and breezy. Right now, it's 80.
John Mino and Jim Schmidt.
On Friday's show, Mark Houston from Amplify Sports Medicine will join us to talk about some big advances in that field.
And we welcome Wish You Were Floyd, brought to you by Daddy D Productions, our live music series. Join us.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
The Todd Albaugh Show.
The Joint Finance Committee was leaked that they intend to cut $87 million from the UW system budget. And so we put this out on our socials last night, and today the Joint Finance Committee decided to pull that from the agenda. Because apparently, from what I'm told, Republican legislators got a lot of calls. When the truth is disseminated and people react, results can happen.
The Todd Albaugh Show, weekdays 2 to 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. From Hobart to Bay Settlement, 97.9 WGBW. Broadcasting live statewide from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who hates shaking hands, Pete Schwaba.
I really do. It's a weird custom. It's one of those things that's been around forever, and you do it, and I'm like, why am I shaking this person's hand? It's invasive, it's intimate, it's strange.
What about a high five?
That's less invasive, and I like the bump.
The bump.
You know what? I like the bow. I'm showing respect to you. I don't. And
do you touch elbows then? Did you do that during COVID like everyone else?
I probably did. Wearing a coat, wearing 10 layers, yeah. Hey, welcome back to Nightlight. We're kicking off Act 2 here, folks. If you are just joining us, we had a lot of fun in hour number 1. We talked to my current guest, J.B. Thompson, who gave us the popcorn pick of the week, and it was Everything Everywhere All at Once, a great film, Oscar-nominated film from a couple of years ago. Our question of the night is, who is your favorite retired athlete? We've had a wide range of submissions so far, and we will catch up on text in just a little bit. Coming up shortly at 7:20 will be Chelsea Myris, who is the education manager at Old World, Wisconsin, a phenomenal museum. And the Wisconsin Historical Society does so much great work. They have so many cool things to see here in our state. And admittedly, I'm guilty of this too. I'm behind on it. I've never been to Old World, Wisconsin, and I can't wait to go. They offer a lot of really cool programs. So we'll talk about that. They have a great event coming up called their Midsummer event. We'll talk about that with Chelsea in just a bit. Right now, we have a few more minutes with our in-studio guest, J.B. Thompson, the guy behind the guy. Behind the guy. You have to take that pause because that's just it for emphasis. Great movie pick, buddy. It's great to have you here. We were talking a little bit about during the break about product placement in movies. Mm-hmm. And you said, I thought this was interesting. I feel like it's worth going back to. When I made a film and I was part of helping out other people make films, it seems like companies wanted to stay away from rated R. They're very conservative. Mm-hmm. You say that's changing a little bit.
I would think so, yeah.
Have you experienced that, or they're just
I think
willing
it's
to...
just certain companies more identify with that. I mean, you're not going to get one of the main, restaurant sponsors or somebody that's more of like a family thing. But there's niches for everything, right?
Sure. You could get like an adult film company. If you got a lot of swearing, maybe they would be willing to roll the dice.
Take it to a whole different level, right?
Exactly. Well, that's encouraging. You've got other projects in the works. Before we get to those, I want to ask you, you've done a lot of, you're kind of tied into the film festival circuit, especially here in Northeast Wisconsin, Central Wisconsin, Northern Wisconsin. What festivals have you been to that really kind of caught your attention or are deserving that you should get the word out about?
Well, I'd say that the Door County Film Festival was a lot of fun, and it's a very about film festival.
Yeah.
It's not about awards or flashiness or whatever.
Great lineup, yeah.
It's hang out and let's watch some great films and then talk a little bit about them. I mean, the Sogo Film Festival, your guest Miles, he was on for a few minutes before he had to do stuff, but he put on a heck of a film festival.
Yeah.
Down in Stoughton, Wisconsin.
I saw the post. It looked really fun.
It was a blast. And so that, and then MIFA and NIFA, there's just a ton of them. So the Milwaukee Independent Film Awards and then the NIFA Awards in Appleton, and that's more of an award show setting. So you're not looking at as many screenings. You're looking at a couple of the films that won awards, and then you're just really networking with other filmmakers. So
to me, that's the fun. Like I spend a lot of time at the Wisconsin Film Festival every year, and just the people I meet is so much fun. It's like they're people you're not going to meet typically anyway at the grocery store or whatever, unless you live in LA or New York or wherever. So I think it's great that there are more and more film festivals, and if people haven't gone to them, they should really go have that experience.
For sure.
Sit down and watch a Q&A after a film and find out what the director was thinking, and you'd be surprised at some of the guests these film festivals get. I was bummed out because Kirk Krause worked on the Door County Film Festival, and they invited me over there one day, and I couldn't go. So I love Door County, and I just feel like it should have a film festival.
Yep. You need to get like your helicopter license so you can just go over the bay
right
there
over the bay
and just land. And plus, I imagine it's interesting for you to go to film festivals because you're kind of a public figure, or you are a public figure, where people, disclose things on the air like you don't like to shake hands. And then I feel bad because I shook his hand when I got here.
Well, listen, I just sort of accept it as a custom. I just don't. I accept it, I do it, but I'm not happy about it.
Okay.
How does that sound?
That's perfect. But I mean, as a public figure, when you go to these different events like the Wisconsin Film Festival, and I know you did the PBS show for years, and then the movie Indie Guys, that was another fun movie where you had to endure like what you would say the independent filmmaker mentality, where the guy's trying to get all the credit and he keeps interrupting you when he's talking, and just funny.
I have the utmost respect for people who are willing to jump into that world and make their own film, even if it's like, and I've read scripts that I thought were pretty bad, and I'm like, I still have so much respect for what they're doing, and you want to do anything you can to help them get through it, because when you're younger, you're jaded, you think you know everything, and then you go through some stuff, and you're like, we all just need to help each other, and it's a great experience. Craig on the stream, that's one of your pals, JB. I don't care for Craig personally, but I've had him on the show several times. He says, Pete, you and JB are looking great and sounding great as always. Thank you, Craig. Look how nicely he's dressed though. He's got the suit. He looks like the mover and the shaker he is. Lil Irv says Bruce Jenner in response to our question of the night, who is your favorite retired athlete? Yeah, he definitely retired. That's for sure. He went far away from the decathlon Bruce Jenner. All right, JB Thompson is my guest, folks. It's been a lot of fun having him in the studio here. He is an independent film producer. And tell me again the name of your company.
Oh, Midwest Digital Ninjas. Thank you. It's
you said that when you were on months ago, and now I just see you as like a film producer. So I didn't even bother to write that down because you're doing so much stuff in the film world.
I'm always willing to help people, Pete. That's the thing. Like,
I know. I like that about
you. I'm always willing to help people.
I love that spirit, and just it's very selfless. Giant Spider Invasion, a cult classic here in Wisconsin. Oh, anywhere, but made here in Wisconsin. Bill Rebane, the director, lives in northern Wisconsin. He's getting up there in years. You guys are making a sequel. How is that going?
It's actually a reimagined remake. That we're bringing back the director, and he's actually going to direct additional footage that's going to be seamlessly cut into the original 1975 film.
That's wow.
Yep. So it's been a challenge on multiple fronts for different reasons, but he's still like running around like a madman, having a great time. And he said, JB, if we're not having fun, we're not doing it right.
Good for him.
So 88.
Yeah, that's amazing. How does he owns all the rights to it then, I assume, if he can cut it up and
Yeah, as far as I know.
If you have a nude scene, Conrad would love to do it.
Okay.
And he's
Conrad's into that sort of
I just
thing.
put visuals into him.
I have a very visual mind.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, well, he's very scantily clad some nights when he produces the show.
But
so
it's
I'm
going to
used
be scarier, campier, and it's going to be funnier. So we're cutting in some really good stuff.
Okay, so
And it's
are you going to
scripted.
take stuff out to add stuff, or are you just adding to the runtime?
We're adding to the runtime.
Okay. That's interesting. So who's writing all this stuff? Are you guys all working on it with Bill?
Well, I'm not on the writing side. I'm more on the production side.
Okay.
As far as like managing the production as it goes along. But actually, Kelly Peterson, Donna Frankert, and Craig Knitt have kind of teamed up to work with Bill. Bill's done the principal writing, and they're kind of helping as a writing team to work on it together.
Okay. It's funny you say Kelly Peterson. I had a Kelly Peterson on this show about a month ago.
Yeah, but not the same one.
Right. I think I reached out to the other one, and she's like, I don't think I'm supposed to, or she said something. I can't remember what it was. I'm like, it's a pretty common name, but I think I did reach out. But she's in this business.
Yeah,
Isn't
for
she
sure.
also a producer or something too? Like
Yeah,
it was
that's
the
the thing.
exact same profession.
Right.
Yep. Yeah,
She's a film
so
producer.
like Tim and KP, as we call her, and Donna, they've been involved in a ton of different films as well.
Wow. All right. So you got your producer hat on. If you had your choice when it comes to producing films, and I don't know if people know just how involved producers are. Producers are the ones that accept the Oscar for Best Picture because they're kind of the overseer. I mean, you got the director, but oftentimes the producer brings the director in. They have kind of the all-encompassing job. What film are you making? What kind and who's in it and what is it?
Like a brand new project, or
Yeah,
like
something
we're
like-
looking at something that already happened.
Well, I don't expect you to come up with the story, but like, what kind of a film would you want to make, and who would you cast in it? I assume you cast your buddies in some level, but who's the star of it?
I'd probably do a Western.
Okay.
And I'd like to work with Cooper Barnes, which he is a big fan of Westerns.
Okay.
So Cooper Barnes is, and again, we talked earlier about what do I like that my kids watch, and Cooper Barnes was Captain Man on Henry Danger. And my kids made me watch, I think, entire catalog of everything that he did, including a movie. And to be honest, like, he's got good comedic timing. He's a funny guy, and I think he'd be fun to work with.
I know this guy. He's been in a lot of stuff. That's pretty cool.
And he's
All right.
doing shorts, and he's a huge fan of Westerns. I'm a huge fan of Westerns. I love old school, like Gunsmoke, old cowboy movies and stuff. And I think that was such an interesting pivot point in this country's history to go through what they went through during that time.
That's pretty amazing. Do you know the show The Rifleman?
No.
Okay.
Is
Check
that
it out.
something I need to check out?
Well, it's just one of those old, like you're saying, I think it's pre-Gunsmoke. I think it predates Gunsmoke, but the producer is a guy from Marinette named Arthur Gardner.
Oh, cool.
And he fought in World War II, had all the camera equipment, so they moved out to L.A., and he and his buddies produced The Rifleman and F Troop.
Okay.
And shows like that. So he's, definitely check him out. But, all right, so, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, it's unbelievable, like, the situation. Like, I read this book called Get Mahoney, which he was a publicist for both the studios and the newspapers during, like, the late 50s, like, or maybe early 50s with, like, Sinatra and Clark Gable and all these people. And just the stories of how all these things actually finally folded and went together with, like, you know, actors going rogue, just different things. Like Frank Sinatra's son, Junior, he was kidnapped.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, get me Mahoney. And this guy came in and, like, solved the situation.
Oh, my God, I
that's
love
what
that.
producers do. You know, producers, when you got an actor that's like, well, I don't know about that, and you talk to him and you work with them. And
so this is a real guy?
Yeah, Mahoney.
Is there's a movie about him, or
well,
a book?
Well, the movie Hail Caesar was loosely based on Mahoney,
Oh, God, I
the
love
Coen
that.
Brothers movie.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
We have about a minute left. What, 2 minutes left?
I
You gave me the
apologize.
wrong
I
signal.
know. I'm
God,
stuck.
doggone it, Amanda.
I'm stuck on the old clocks.
Don't you ever know.
There's new clocks? This
I'm
is like
not-
a new language that we need to learn in
This is
timekeeping?
we changed the clocks. I had nothing to do with it.
My mechanical memory kicked in. Now you have a minute and a half.
Oh,
So
perfect.
that's not. We just wasted our extra time talking about the new clock. So
It's important stuff.
Exactly. All right, so JB, what we got about a minute left. What are you watching? What can you recommend?
Lately, I just started digging into these old Stephen King movies. So when I was in LA, I was fortunate enough to meet a director, Craig R. Baxley, and he did like a lot of stunt stuff, a ton of stuff. He's a second generation filmmaker, and then he directed all these things for Stephen King. So there was this King Hospital, and then there was The Storm of the Century, which was like a 3-part miniseries.
And it's amazing.
It is, right?
Nice.
It's just this beautiful like work that he did, and they block shot everything for the entire series of Kingdom Hospital. And so they had to, the actors needed to know their arc at what point in the story they were, and it's like a 17-hour total series. But yeah, so Craig R. Baxley was a guy I got a chance to meet out there, and just an awesome guy. So that's what I'm digging into right now.
All right, I love it. I appreciate you making the drive from Appleton. I'm going to shake your hand.
Oh,
how does that feel?
We'll do this.
Well, I've already shook it now.
I know, but it was just a chorus.
We could do the guy hug where we block ourselves. All right, JB Thompson, thank you so much,
Thank
buddy.
you so much for having me, Pete.
Great having
Appreciate
you.
it.
We're coming right back with Chelsea Myris. We're going to talk Old World, Wisconsin. That's next on Nightlight with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home of Mino and the Mayor.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. For the last few months, Governor Tony Evers has said repeatedly that he would make a decision about whether or not to run for a third term after the state budget process is completed. In a recent opinion column at the recombobulation area, I made the argument that the decision that Evers should make should be to not seek a third term as Wisconsin's governor. This argument is not one of ideological differences or policy disagreements. Tony Evers has been a good governor and has served the state well. This more has to do with Evers' age. He'll be 75 years old in November 2026, and about how the Democratic Party has had a massive, inescapable problem in its unwillingness to pass the torch to the next generation. Tony Evers needs to do what so many other Democrats have struggled so mightily to do and step aside when the time is right. And after Joe Biden's catastrophic 2024, this is a conversation we need to be having, and we need to be having it now. Democrats can't keep repeating the same mistakes over and over. It's time to do things differently.
Find all of Dan's work at the recombobulation area.
Hey Wisconsin, it's construction season, and the Wisconsin DOT wants to help you safely navigate work zones. Check 511wi.gov or download the app for road work or closures on your route. Know before you go with 511 Wisconsin. Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
The Maggie Dawn Show.
Mark Sommerhauser, the communications director for the Wisconsin Policy Forum, analyzing the impacts of the big brutal bill.
That number that you mentioned of nearly $15,000 per person, literally about a quarter of the state's economy.
Basically a quarter of the state's economy coming from the federal government. I'm not hearing from Republicans in the state in their biennial budget planning any sort of contingency plan for major disruption in federal funding coming into the state.
The award-winning Maggie Dawn Show at its new time, weekdays 4 till 6 p.m.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
As Wisconsin has a game of cribbage with good friends, this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Welcome back. This is Nightlight, ladies and gentlemen. We are cruising through a Thursday here on the Civic Media Radio Network. I am your host, Pete Schwaba, and I am so thrilled you are here tonight as we come together and connect over movies and TV and all the fun stuff we love about life. Jim from Appleton says, in response to our question of the night, who is your favorite retired athlete? Jim says, my favorite is Sidney Moncrief. Former Bucks player, a real class act. Though Walter Payton is hard to beat, they called him Sweetness for many reasons. I agree, and I loved Sidney Moncrief as well, Jim. He was really fun to watch. Carrie from Tosa, she's in the 414. She says, Thurman Munson, catcher for the New York Yankees, died in a plane crash in the 80s. That's one of those moments where I remember where I was. And he was like in a glider or something strange like that. Have you ever teleported yourself, Amanda?
Not in real life.
Hovercraft, nothing like that.
No.
Okay, you don't like to live. All right, we're going to pivot here, folks. We talked a little bit about independent films and the popcorn pick of the week, and now we are changing our approach here on the show. And we're going to talk about a really cool museum right here in Wisconsin. I'm about to welcome my next guest from Old World, Wisconsin. She's the Education Program Manager, and she joins us now on the stream, Chelsea Myris. Hi, Chelsea.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
It's great to meet you. I appreciate you taking time out on a Thursday when you could be watching color television or going out to eat or something. So we appreciate your time. We've talked about on this show the museum previously when there were other events happening. For those who don't know, and I admit I've always heard of it, I've never been there. Tell us about Old World, Wisconsin.
Yeah, well, it is a very unique place. You kind of got to see it to believe it. So going to have to come out. But it is 600 acres. It's in the Kettle Moraine Park. So it's just beautiful landscapes. But it is 60 historic buildings that were moved there from the 1960s through this year. We are still getting some. So when you come, it's a little bit of an outdoor history museum, a little bit of an attraction. You get to come and see all sorts of cool buildings. There are staff all around, some in historic clothing. There are trams to take you around the site, animals to see, and activities to do. We're very hands-on, love learning and having fun with people.
How do you, you're the education manager. It's such a all-encompassing museum. Mm-hmm. How do you brand it? How do you sell it? What do you sell it as? If you had to give an elevator pitch, is it history of Wisconsin pretty much, but you do events too? It's just such a unique place.
Yeah, the elevator pitch is to whoever I'm talking to. I work mostly with kids. So when I talk to them, I'm like, animals, hands-on, butter making, running around in the grass stuff. People like history, of course. We go into deep dives about architecture and the history of Wisconsin. Schoolhouse is a great fun thing. So many cool stuff. Just kind of depends. And of course, we have the beer garden and brew house and the new tavern. So if that's your history of Wisconsin you want to touch into, we've got it all.
I hope we can get to all of that. You just talked about you're moving buildings in. Mm-hmm. What does that entail? You have a 600-acre campus. Mm-hmm. How does that work?
Mm-hmm. It's super cool. It really depends. Some were moved literally brick by brick, and you can come and see the numbers on the bricks to know how that was done. And some, recently, our tavern was moved a couple years ago, reassembled on site. I got to see it all happen. That was cool. And now it's open for the public. But that was moved in 4 pieces. So the first floor, second floor, bathroom, and roof all came separately on trucks from central Wisconsin. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. And you mentioned, but at the 4th of July celebration, I saw this. You're going to let people churn butter. Does the chance to churn your own butter put the butts in the seats? Are people excited to do that?
People love it. Have you ever had fresh churned butter?
Apparently not. And I've never churned butter, but I'm open to it. I'm open to the churning.
It's delicious. There's not even salt in it. It's just the cream. But something about it being fresh, it is totally different.
And people get to taste it after they...
Yep, they get their own little canister to try out themselves. So all sanitary and all that. But everyone of all ages loves to try some fresh churned butter.
All right, one more thing I have to ask you about, then we'll get into the midsummer event. What is goat yoga? Can you explain goat yoga?
I can. It is what it sounds like. You come out before we are open, and it is not goats that live at Old World. They come and visit us for the morning. And so the goats and the goat owner comes along, and you literally do yoga next to one of our historic buildings in our beautiful grass in the Kettle Moraine Park, and goats walk around and sometimes climb on you.
Do they bite you?
No, they're very friendly goats. Very sweet.
I feel like if you're in downward facing dog, you're in a very vulnerable position.
You might get
a wild
licked,
okay.
But that's probably what you're paying for.
Okay, very good. All right, so we've got Chelsea Myris is my guest. She is the Education Program Manager at Old World, Wisconsin. They have a big celebration coming up. Before Independence Day. This is just this weekend, right? So tell us about the midsummer event.
Yeah, so it's this Saturday, and it's all day with a general admission ticket. So what it means is that if you just come out, you'll get your whole regular day at Old World, plus all this extra fun stuff. So we are celebrating Midsummer, which the celebration in Sweden is also happening this Saturday. It's pretty cool when that aligns. And Midsummer is the celebration of the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. And so we'll have all of the typical things, which includes you can make a flower crown for a token. You can come and learn about some of the traditions, like a lot of divination was popular in Midsummer, so you can learn about how to do some of that. You can do some nature study, and of course the big maypole that you get to dance around.
I saw that. That sounds like, do people get into that and have a lot of fun with it?
Oh, yes. And we'll have multiple chances for people to do it. Though the end of the day is the one where we get to do the really complex patterns. So you can practice in the morning, and then we get to do that. Very intricate dance.
It's a more family-friendly, wholesome form of pole dancing, which I'm in favor of. All right. So Chelsea Myris is here. We're going to have more with her after we do the news here. We'll jump into more Midsummer talk, and then they have a big Independence Day celebration. We'll talk about all of that, and we'll read your texts. It's Nightlight with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
7.9 WGBW and WGBW.FM. You can always continue the conversation on social media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packard. 2 weeks. The timeline from President Trump today as to when we can expect a decision on whether he'll authorize an attack on Iran. One of the options President Trump is considering, what's known as a bunker buster bomb to destroy Iran's underground Fordo nuclear facility. ABC News Pentagon reporter Louis Martinez.
The concerns are whether this massive ordnance penetrator can actually destroy that facility. It's never been used in combat. Testing indicates it goes down to a certain depth. The question is, are those Iranian facilities down too deep, potentially, for this penetrator?
Dodger Stadium in L.A., a group of protesters gathering near one of the entrance gates after the Dodgers confirmed that ICE requested permission to access the parking lots. The organization says the agents were denied entry. 500,000 customers without power along the mid-Atlantic after a band of powerful thunderstorms tore through. Police say a teenager was struck by lightning in New York. This is ABC News.
The Brewers win. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with Sports Baseball. A great day today at Wrigley Field where the wind was blowing out and the Brewers taking advantage. An 8-7 win from Milwaukee over the Cubs at the friendly confines. 3 home runs today by the crew. Rhys Hoskins, Caleb Durbin, and Isaac Collins getting his 4th home run of the season. Drama in the 9th. Closer Trevor McGill on the mound and some very poor calls on some pitches that should have been called strikes. Pat Murphy visibly upset from the dugout. McGill managed to get out of the inning with 1 strikeout and getting the Cubs' Seiya Suzuki to hit into a double play. Trevor McGill with his 16th save of the season. Pat Murphy after the win.
Great opportunity for our young guys to then face the great Cubs team coming back and breathing down our necks right to the very end. So it gets pretty emotional.
What did you think of the way Trevor specifically responded?
I thought Trevor's been great, man. This guy's underrated. Trevor's been great.
Up next, the Brewers head to Minnesota for a weekend series against the Twins. With Sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Sometimes superheroes need to be stuck up for when they are being bullied, at least when it comes to movies. The marvelous Miss Maisel, also known as Rachel Brosnahan, stuck up for superhero movies. She chatted with Amanda Seyfried for an article in Interview magazine. Both actors agreed if an actor is going to do a superhero role, they need to own it, as opposed to what Dakota Johnson said after starring in Madam Web and basically trashing the film after it flopped at the box office. Brosnahan is set to play Lois Lane in the upcoming Superman film. As usual, there will be a battle for the top spot at the box office this coming weekend. Distribution prognosticators are predicting How to Train Your Dragon will keep the top spot after a monster opening weekend. Duking it out for the number 2 spot at the box office, according to Variety, will be 28 Years Later, the 3rd installment of the 28 Days franchise, and 1st installment of a new trilogy, and Pixar's Elio, a little bit of horror and some family-friendly fare. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Tonight, scattered showers and thunderstorms, some strong with pockets of heavy rainfall, lows in the low 60s. For tomorrow, turning partly sunny, warmer and muggy, with highs in the low 80s. Heat for the weekend, low 90s, sunny and breezy. Right now, it's 78 degrees.
Mino and the Mayor.
Show him the picture he showed me today in the striped little short shorts.
No, it was the
They
belly.
would be banned
I
now.
know. No, John.
Too much skin.
Hubba, hubba, hubba.
Man, dig that crazy chick.
Oh, wear short shorts.
We wear short shorts.
Oh, that's funny. Wow.
Mino and the Mayor, weekday mornings 6 till 9. The Todd Albaugh Show.
Ken, as I like to call him, my least favorite Martin, chairman of the Democratic National Committee.
The other night, I said to myself for the first time, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Matt Flynn.
You go into combat and the general goes, I'm afraid. It reminds me of the coach of the Jets back in the 90s. The other team would come on the field and say, boy, they look big. No, I swear to God. And the Jets lost 12 games. I mean, You can't have this kind of stuff. Get this guy out of here. Put in Ben Wickler.
The Todd Albaugh Show, weekdays 2 to 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Jane Matnair and Greg Bach.
Coming up on the show, Dan Schaefer from the recombobulation area will be here to recap all of the week's news. Don't miss it.
Matnair on air, weekday mornings 9 to 11.
Welcome back. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. I am Pete Schwaba. Great to have you with me on this Thursday night. The weekend is right around the corner. Do you find that the weekend, I like summer best before the 4th? Because after the 4th, it just seems to fly by. It's so crazy. I like it pre-4th.
I do as well, mostly because it's in that it might be summer weather, it might not be. It might be summer weather, it's not going to be.
It's not.
And
It's
then
not
after
ever
the
gonna be.
4th, it's just really hot and everyone makes me close my windows and turn on the AC and I get real sad.
Well, let's talk about that. Our question, by the way, if you want to get in on the fun, folks, I will read your text on the radio. How exciting is that? Who's your favorite retired athlete? We will read text in just a few minutes here, but we've got some more time here with our current guest, and we should ask Chelsea this. Chelsea Myris is from the Old World Wisconsin Museum. She's the education program manager. Midsummer is a celebration of the summer solstice, Chelsea. Are we going to see the sun this summer, do you think, at all?
Oh, we should see it a lot this weekend.
I hope so. Man, it's been brutal up here in northeast Wisconsin. All right, so tell us a little more. All right, the Scandinavian homesteads area of your museum, you can enjoy fermented ale samples, food, games, and fun. Tell us what's there for families.
Oh, yes. We're all about activities for all ages. So the great thing about our whole Midsummer is that you can do all the other old world fun stuff. So come to the village and everything. There are some cooking demos that you can see and actually help out with. We always like to have hands-on with our cooking. We've also got, if you want to learn a little bit more about the flowers of Midsummer, you can go to our naturalist cabin. So you have specifically learning about those flowers that are really popular in Midsummer celebrations and the flower crowns and atop our maypole. And of course, the dancing in the maypole. Kids can do that all as well. And then at Raspberry Schoolhouse, there are going to be some extra fun games as well. So the regular school lessons and learn a little bit more about Scandinavia.
It'll be different. It's like you're trying to trick kids into going to school when they're
It's not a trick. They come to Old World and the first thing they say is, I want to go to the schoolhouse. Something about summer and school.
I love it. Old World, the Old World, Wisconsin, I should say. Midsummer celebration takes place June 21st from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Chelsea Myris is with us right now, and she is the program education manager. Kids get in free on Wednesdays. I think that's kind of cool. Can you tell us what kind of stuff you offer like during the week like that?
Oh, yeah. So kids get in free on Wednesdays means that every Wednesday this summer, your kids 12 and under are free. And that's just it. That's That's no trick or anything. You arrive with an adult. You can't just drop them off. You arrive and you get to see all our regular stuff. Our whole site is open every day, Wednesday through Sunday. So just because it's a weekday doesn't mean we're not doing our awesome stuff. Come see the blacksmiths, come see the animals at animal encounters. You can get up close to them, do a bunch of chores, another thing kids love to do when they're not at home.
Do you actually put the kids to work so that
Always,
you don't have
yes.
to hire a maintenance crew? Just like trick them into thinking they're helping?
Our maintenance crew does a lot of amazing work. But yes, we do put the kids to dust out. As you can imagine, our historic buildings get really dusty, especially in the summer. They love to sweep. They love to do the dishes after our cooking demos.
That's so great. Old World, Wisconsin, folks, is just 45 minutes from Milwaukee. It looks spectacular. It's on my list of places to see. Tell us about your Independence Day weekend celebration you have coming up.
Well, you can come on July 4th, which is really exciting. So that's Friday. And then also on July 5th. So if you have something else going on, the family barbecue or the town parade or something, you've got another chance to come out. And there's all sorts of cool stuff. If you've got a competitive patriotic streak, we do our pie eating contest and our tug of war. You can also join and see our parade or join in if you want. And it's decorated beautifully with our red, white, and blue bunting and flags all over the place.
Where does the patriotism come in with the pie eating? Actually, there's nothing more American than a good old-fashioned food contest. When you have the pie eating contest, are you going for quantity or quality? Do manners come into play? Do you get high marks for manners? Or
I would say less marks for manners. You got to go all in. One pie, so it's how quickly can you eat the pie, and we do divvy based on age, and we do multiple throughout the day, so you have many chances. And we even let people pick the flavor of their pie. Not just cherry pie. You can have a blueberry or apple or something, and then we see who wins.
Do you ever worry that people are just trying to get free pie and they're really not interested in winning?
Every once in a while, we get a kid that gives up and just walks away with his pie, and we're like, that's okay. He's happy.
All right. So you and I love this description. Suit up in your best patriotic gear. And you can churn butter. That's exciting. And what else? I mean, is there, I think you mentioned a parade. Do you have that on the 4th as well?
Yes, it's on both. So our run of show is the same on Friday and Saturday, and the parade is at the end of the day. So the big final celebration, and it is a classic 1876 parade, which is what we show, kind of what they were celebrating on the centennial of the United States. So we have flags out there like celebrating, getting votes for women and things like that. Celebrating, we just found a flag that says "Let Freedom Ring" in German, as many would have been speaking German in this area. And you can join in. You can put on some swag, wave a flag, all of that.
It sounds like so much fun. Tell us what animals, like you have on this sheet here, animal encounters, and I'm sure the kids flip for the animals. What kind of animals and what do they flock to? What are their favorites?
We got animals big and small. So the farm animals are working animals, and they are out there. We have a pair of working oxen that you can see in the field. We have a couple pairs of horses. We've got the big draft horses and little town horses. So you can really see the difference in the sizes. Wow. You can see our sheep all over the place. We do our wool processing with that sheep wool. You can come out every spring and see us shear them and all of that. And then if you want to get up close with them, that's at our animal encounters. So that's our little area where we have an animal encounter staff person. And you can actually meet some of them. So we have our little bunny who's there, our rabbit, sable. And then we also have some chicks that are there. And throughout the year, you might see other animals like baby lambs. So it's all sorts of fun. And every single animal we have on site is a heritage breed, which means it's a breed that's been around for a long time. Actual animals they might have had back in the 19th century. And chickens, of course, are just running all over the place.
That's always fun, too. Rebecca Werner sent me all this information. I was literally in the process of researching this and writing all these questions, and then boom, she just sends this to me over the email. But you've got historic three-wheel bicycles. You can hike. There are hiking trails, a nature hike. 5 different historic farmsteads. This place is like, is it getting more popular, or do people flock to it? Or are you still trying to get more visitors? I mean, it sounds like people would just be lined up around the block.
Yeah, I'd say both. I mean, we have a huge membership. A member to the Wisconsin Historical Society gets in free to Old World, plus all of our other historic sites in the state. So we have people that come literally every week to enjoy it. We also have people that come from afar, whether it's their first time, coming from across all over the world. I have talked to many people in different languages and from different countries. And people come because their, friends or family they're visiting said, you know what, there's really not an Old World Wisconsin anywhere else. You need to kind of see what this place is.
Is that true? Yeah. Is this a very unique museum for this state? You just
very.
Oh, that's so
yeah.
cool.
It's actually based.
Question.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Amanda has a question.
I have a question. So you guys dress as authentically as you can, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. What do you do in instances like this weekend where they're saying we're going to be in the 90s, maybe hitting 100? How do you stay cool in all those layers?
Well, couple of good points. We do always keep our staff safe. So in extreme temperatures, we do have various ways. We're not as strict with our period clothing. We keep the fires down, things like that. But period clothing, it was made to keep people cool in these hot temperatures. So if I'm in my full period clothing, I'll have multiple skirts on, the petticoats underneath the main dress. And if I twirl around, it's like a fan just on my body. It keeps, cool and everything.
Oh, wow.
I've got my hat on that keeps my face from getting sunburnt and all of that. So it's very, looser woven, light clothing, kind of like what you see people wearing today in some, warmer, like desert environments, like wearing long sleeve clothes, but lighter. And it really does keep cool once you get used to it.
That is interesting. And I have heard that when you take like my dad was on this crew and he was in college, and he said with city workers in Chicago, and he was so hot, he took his shirts off and they all started laughing at him, because you want to keep your clothes on because you sweat, and the coolness of your own perspiration keeps your body cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right? I think we lost Chelsea. I just said something that really rubbed her the wrong way. All right, Chelsea, I'm not going to take my shirt off if I come to Old World, Wisconsin. Don't worry about that. All right, finally, I want to ask you about Wittenbill's Tavern. This looks really cool, another attraction on the grounds.
Yeah, so this is our newest open attraction. So Whitnable's Tavern is from Old Ashapin, real tavern from the 1930s, run by the Whitnable family. It's originally attached to their house, actually, which is cool. So the tavern was brought and reassembled here. And so you can step in and you're back in the 1930s. Happy days are here again. It's right after Prohibition. And you can get a beer in the style of the 1930s that was brewed. Our brewmaster brewed it in collaboration with a local brewery. And you can taste what a 1930s beer would have tasted like, and some other modern day craft beer. The 1930s style is in your take.
You have to twist Wisconsinites' arms to get them to try a beer at this attraction.
It's funny. It's just because it just opened a month ago. We've been noticing on the grounds a lot more people getting questions about like, oh, should we go to the tavern when we arrive at 10? That seems weird, right? No.
Well, they'll be tailgating in no time outside Old World, Wisconsin. My guest is Chelsea Myris. She is the Education Program Manager at Old World, Wisconsin. Chelsea, I ask everybody almost that comes on the show this question before we let you go. What are you watching on TV? You're an educator. You seem very intellectual. You've got this really cool museum. What do you watch at night when you take off the petticoats and you're just putting your feet up and relaxing?
Oh, that is a good question. I have a 2-year-old, so I don't get to see a lot of TV at the moment. But I just finished the second season of The Last of Us, so that we made some time for that one. That was very good.
This is funny you say that, because I watched the first season and I liked it, and the second season I was pretty excited to check out, and I was letting them build up, and then the big plot point in the second or third episode with Pedro, I'm like, I'm not watching it now. Like, I just couldn't picture him, and I guess the show went on and it was fine, and he does come back, but I don't know, that kind of turned me off.
You didn't play the games, did you?
Yeah, my husband played the games, and he kept me watching. There's an episode you need to watch later on.
All right. I'm surrounded by nerds, and that tells me it's time to move on with the show. All right. Chelsea, thank you so much for your time tonight. You have a great museum there. I haven't been there. I am coming one of these days. I cannot wait to see it. And keep up the amazing work at this really unique place we have here in Wisconsin. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. All right. That's Chelsea Myers. Check out Old World, Wisconsin this weekend. Why don't you pack up the car and take the little one down there?
I don't got that kind of time.
Yeah, I guess not. You know,
it's my fat weekend.
It's kind of it's your fat. What does it mean? You can just
we got 5 seconds. We'll get into it later.
That's it? All right, we're coming right back.
As Wisconsin is dropping a line in your favorite fishing spot, this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Appleton Cigar Company on College Avenue has been serving the community for over 25 years. If you are a cigar aficionado looking for a one-of-a-kind experience, you need to check out Appleton Cigar, which boasts the largest selection of cigars north of Milwaukee with over 706 cigars to choose from in a walk-in humidor. The Cigar Lounge offers an impressive variety of spirits and cocktails that pair perfectly with a premium cigar. For the full experience, come to Appleton Cigar at 415 College Ave, Monday through Saturday, 11:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. For more information, go to appletoncigar.com.
Rebel Eddies is your solution for auto detailing in Midwest Wisconsin. They specialize in top-tier services, including deep cleaning and detailing, paint corrections, ceramic coatings, wax oil undercoatings, window tinting, and more. And they take pride in delivering professional results every time. Rebel Eddies is family and veteran-owned and operated. Bookings are available as soon as 1 week. Call 920-671-8984 or visit rebeleddies.com. Rebel Eddies Detailing. Restore, protect, maintain.
Hey, it's John Mino. And Jim Schmidt from Mino and the Mayor. Want to stay in the loop with all things Northeast Wisconsin? Sign up for the WGBW weekly newsletter. Get the latest local stories, updates on the weather, and a special feature from our Mino and the Mayor podcast. It's your one-stop shop for real news and great conversation in Northeast Wisconsin. Log on to WGBW.FM today and get signed up.
Real news, great conversation. Sign up today at WGBW.FM/newsletter.
Hey Appleton, it's time to come alive with music. It's Amanda with another new Wisco 411 for you, brought to you by Area 509 in Appleton. And this Saturday is Make Music Day. It's part of a worldwide celebration that takes place in over 1,000 cities in more than 120 countries. And Appleton is opening up College Avenue to have musicians and events, and everyone is invited. You can come listen to the music, or if you're a musician yourself, you can participate. Head to WGBW.FM and click events to find out how.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Mattinaire on Air.
From articles that I have seen, if you are a bagel purist, you should not toast your bagel. I think nothing's better than a toasted bagel and a schmear.
Folks, can we have a moment of honesty? Do you really like bagels, or do you like the schmear that is transported by them? Get rid of the stigma. If I walk into this room eating cream cheese out of a tub with a spoon.
Why is that wrong?
Mattinaire on Air, weekday mornings 9 to 11 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Local news, weather, and sports on air and streaming on the Civic Media app. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Would it be weird if I just started singing?
No, it's your show.
Okay. It is my show. This is Pete Schwaba, and this is Nightlight. And you've got the Civic Media Radio Network on a Thursday, folks. And how could you do better than that? It's raining outside. This is the perfect night to sit inside and listen to the radio, at least for a few more minutes. Brian from Green Bay on the text line very early in the show said, those shenanigans are not helping your cause of Todd enjoying vacation. We were kind of talking about hijinks.
Are you a narc, Brian? You going to tell Todd?
Oh, Brian has been outed as a narc. And Brian says, Jordy Nelson, that's a good one. Favorite retired athlete, Jameson from Pennsylvania says, morning guy, don't forget to tune in to Night Lights with Dieter Schwarma. We have so much fun with my name on this show. It's Peach Cobbler. It's I have not heard that one. I like that one, Jameson. Thank you. Dieter Schwaba. Tom from New Berlin says, Sweetness was the GOAT. Robin Yount was mine. I was 12 when he came to the Brewers. Grew up with him. Great choices, Tom. Yeah, Robin Yount, 19, I believe, when he joined the Brewers. I remember going to Brewers games. My mom's family lived in Milwaukee, and we'd come up and tailgate. Lots of fun. Ross from Crawford County says, I think my favorite is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a.k.a. Lou Alcindor. Intelligent. He was in the movie Airplane. And then he added mild-mannered. That was just such a tangential offshoot of the rest of the text. Did you see Airplane?
No.
Oh, God. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is hilarious. This kid is riding him saying, my dad says you don't try hard. He's like, kid, I'm not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm a pilot. No, my dad says you don't work hard. You don't give it all every night. And finally, Jabbar just explodes and grabs the kid and says, the hell I don't. Totally breaks cover. We read that one. Billie Jean King, Donald Driver, Thurman Munson. Oh, I kind of jumped around before. Sydney in Oregon says, my cousin used to play a mean game of soccer in the juniors league. Retired now. Shout out to the real number one. Really could have been something. Oh, that's kind of nice. Throwing a cousin's name out there. Bridget from the 818 says, Michael Jordan, the absolute best. Hard to argue with that, Bridget. Great choice. Andrea from Grafton says, was not meant for us. I almost read something very embarrassing, Amanda. What do you think about that?
I mean, is it the first time, though?
Something I didn't write that was embarrassing. Tony, the trucker from the 608, he says, Pete, Joe Thomas. Oh, that's a great one, Tony. Ex-Badger, Hall of Famer, played his entire career in Cleveland, never winning a championship, could easily have went elsewhere for more money, but showed his loyalty to the city and the game. Wasn't about money or accolades. What do you think about that? People feel sorry. These are all outstanding texts, by the way, everybody. I know I got behind, so I hope you stuck with me there, but we always we like to leave no text unturned. But these were all excellent choices, but what do you think? People say, well, he was rich. You know, who cares if you didn't win a championship? And I like to think I wouldn't care either if I was doing what I loved and getting paid gobs of money for it. But you're still a competitor, right?
I feel like that's in, like, the entirety of the sports world is about winning. Like, I mean, I'm going to get some hate here, but look at Packer fans, okay? When the Packers lose and everyone goes to work that Monday, and
it's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare to be around other people. And if you think you feel that bad, imagine the people who lost.
Who played.
Yep.
But they played, they lost, but they got a huge paycheck. We're just fans. We're at their mercy, so to speak, right?
They may get the huge paycheck because that's just industry standard for them.
Right.
But imagine the inside, like, back and forth between the other players, between the coaches, managers, like whatever else they have.
That's true. And you do feel kind of like Joe Thomas, by all accounts, everything I've heard about him, was a great guy. And there are a lot of those people that have these great careers but never won anything. And I don't feel sorry for them because they did what they love and they got paid a lot of money. But it would be nice if they could cap their...
It would be nice.
Yeah. At least it's not high on my list of I feel sorry for this professional athlete, but it would be nice if they got some hardware.
I mean... And again, it's not like they're doing nothing. They have grueling practices. Like that type of physical work that early in the morning, that late at night, and all different types of like temperatures and environments.
Absolutely.
I played rugby, and the exercises we had to do were worse than playing the game itself.
You played rugby?
Oh, yeah. Best anger management out there, by the way.
I bet it is. Did you get down and dirty?
I got cleated in the face.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But you get back up. You keep going.
But that's an accident. That's not someone that's got your number.
The best thing about rugby is on the field, you are out to just beat the crap out of each other. But the second the game is over, you are hugging the person who may have just broken your nose and sharing a meal together like nothing happened.
See, I don't get that. I was in a floor hockey league in college in intramurals, and this guy kept checking me. He was twice my size, and I wanted to beat the crap. After the game... I was like, we were doing one of those handshakes where we were like trying to outshake each other. Like
this
we were
is why you don't
hands.
like shaking hands.
That very well could be. Hey, tomorrow night, folks, on Nightlight, we've got another fun show here. Quinn Hurley will be here to talk about the Green Bay Tattoo Festival. Do you have any ink, Amanda?
Yep, got
Nice.
3 of them. There we go.
Oh,
Had to
very
count.
Cool. I don't know what I would do at this point in my life. Like, it might be a cry for help if I got a tattoo. tattoo. But I think they're kind of cool. No?
Definitely not. Anyone can. I mean, there's people in their 80s getting tattoos.
Well, that must be tough with that skin all crumply like that.
Yeah, probably not the best for the people doing it, but
those tattoo artists earn their money. And then Chris Ruckdashel will be here from Muskie Fest in Hayward. And this is cool, too, because in addition to talking about muskies, and I assume fishing for muskies, we'll find out tomorrow night, they're going to show a film that was shot up in that area called Bloodhook from 1987. It's kind of a cult thing they do. I can't wait to talk to Chris about that. And then, this is exciting, folks. All the fun things are happening when Conrad is gone. Have you noticed that?
it's like he does it on purpose.
I think
Where do you
does.
think he is?
Terry Barr's coming back. I'm out. Terry Barr will be here tomorrow night. Bar Band Friday night is happening tomorrow. It's happened the whole time she was on vacation, too. Rocker filled in admirably and spectacularly. It was really fun talking to Rocker the last 3 weeks. But our old pal Terry will be back. His co-host on Max Inc. Radio, the award-winning Max Inc. Radio. How many trophy shelves does Terry Barr have?
She's got to have a whole room at
Ridiculous.
this point.
I probably shouldn't even like her on paper. All right, we're coming back tomorrow night. This is going to be exciting, folks. Have a great night. Thank you to Chelsea Myris. Thank you to J.D. Thompson, the guy behind the guy. Thank you to Amanda Nimmer for filling in for the lovable producer Conrad. I'm Pete Schwaba. Good night, Wisconsin.